Yeah, I think we just didn't execute too well today. Yeah.
What were your impressions of Texas Tech's defense and what did they do to make things tough for you?
Yeah, we knew they were a very good defense coming in. I thought they very much played like it. Yeah, just a well coached team. They definitely came out on top today. Hopefully, we'll see them again later.
How difficult was it to overcome after the fumbles and then the big pass play gets called back? Does that put you in a position where you press a little bit?
Just yeah, we put ourselves in some tough situations. You try to minimize the self mistakes. You consider those more self mistakes than them making plays. So yeah, that's just something we want to control a lot better going into these next following weeks.
Devin, obviously, back-to-back games where the offense just couldn't find its footing in the first half. Have you guys been able to kind of pinpoint what's going wrong there, just in the slow starts in the first half?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just staying efficient, putting ourselves in a lot of third and longs. Those are hard to overcome in football. We try to stay as efficient as possible.
Devin, this is the first time you guys are going to have to face this kind of adversity coming off something like this. As a leader, what do you say to your group?
Yeah, keep the confidence up. We've been doing this all spring, all fall. It hurts me that we didn't show that today. What we were capable of doing. But I mean, we know as a team, we know what our potential is. No need for that confidence to leave. We'll be back.
Nate, on defense, was there a different look that Will Hammond brought when he came into the game? What was it that they were doing that got them going in the second half there?
They just made plays and we didn't. That's it. Good offense. We got to make more plays.
For Nate and Teo, obviously, offense scored. You guys were within 3. Just what happened there at the end defensively that, the breakdowns and 3 touchdowns and all that?
Yeah, just like you said, breakdowns. A lot of things that we can control: missed tackles, missed assignments. Everything that we can control. They didn't do anything that was special or anything. It's just a lot on us.
Devin, what sort of improvements need to be made to get more out of the passing game, specifically downfield?
Man, it's somewhat a general question. Just be more on time. I think we have a great O-line. They're going to hold up for us. Yeah, again, just my connection to the receivers just needs to be a lot more efficient and a lot more cleaner.
All right, that'll wrap us up.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll start off by saying that was a really good football team we played. Give them a lot of credit. They've really assembled themselves a really good roster, and like I said, they're talented, physical. So yeah, it was a good football team that we faced. We didn't do anything to help our own cause, particularly on offense. First quarter was a disaster. 2 turnovers with the fumbles, another turnover on downs, 4th and 1. You got to convert that. Touchdown called back because of a penalty. So really didn't get into a rhythm on offense essentially the whole morning, afternoon. Nice 2-minute drill in the first half, got us a field goal. Then we had the 1 touchdown drive in the second half, but other than that, we didn't play, like I said, with much rhythm or much continuity. Ran the ball very poorly, way under 100 yards if you take away the garbage yards that happened, those last 3 or 4 plays. And so that was disappointing. I never would have believed if you would have said we were going to lose the line of scrimmage. Never would have believed that in a million years. But we did. We didn't win the line of scrimmage. Defense played lights out for 3.5 quarters, and then it went from 13 to 34 in the blink of an eye. And it can't happen. I mean, it just can't happen. You got to finish games, and you got to keep keep your poise and keep doing the things that you were doing the first 3.5 quarters. We can't let things get away from us like that in the fourth quarter. And kind of reminiscent of last year when we had chances to put people away in the fourth quarter and win a game with 1 stop, and just couldn't do it. So we got to continue to look hard at that. Looking for positives. I thought our punter punted the ball very well. He did a good job. Came up with a couple takeaways on defense. Noah Benny, exceptional interception in the end zone, and then we had the other one on the tip ball. But we didn't play the run exceptionally well either. And like I said, for us to lose the line of scrimmage is that doesn't happen very often, but it certainly happened today. So we got to regroup now. We got a tough road trip to West Virginia. We're playing well. Rich Rodriguez is a great football coach, and they'll be ready for us. There's no doubt about that. East Coast trip, so we got to leave a day early next week, and so it'll be a little different schedule, but that's neither here nor there really. But like I said, the bottom line, we lost the turnover margin 4-2, and again didn't convert on the 4th down and short. It seemed like we battled field position all game. We were in tough field position. We could never tilt the field back our way because we couldn't make enough first downs on offense. We couldn't move the chains enough to give our defense some breathing room, and so it seems like they had their back to the wall a good portion of the game. But they won the game. We got to review the film, fix our deficiencies, and get back at it come Monday. I mean, you can't sit around and feel sorry for yourself. You just got to get back at it and go to work and try to figure out how to beat the next team. So, questions?
Kyle, you mentioned that the offense just struggled to get into a rhythm all game. Do you feel like that was sort of a play calling thing, or were the turnovers just too hard to overcome?
Well, I think it was a combination of things. Certainly the turnovers, you only get about 10 or 11 possessions a game on average. Some games are more, and which is about three or four a quarter max, 2 to 4 a quarter. And if you turn it over twice and turn it over a third time on downs, that doesn't help your cause. Have to take a look at the film and see why we didn't win the line of scrimmage. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't have a great answer right now. We just didn't play up to our usual standards up front.
Kyle, on both of the scoring drives, you guys went up tempo a little bit. Was there ever any consideration to maybe go up tempo for the rest of the game?
That's up to Jason. It's his offense, and you're right in the respect that we did have success doing that those 2 drives, and maybe in hindsight we should have. I mean, that's a good thought.
When it comes to the slow starts, this has kind of happened a little bit in Wyoming, maybe a little bit in Cal Poly. Is there any particular reason why you think that this team is starting slow and not getting into that rhythm?
No, don't have a good answer on that either. But you obviously judge the game in its entirety. But you're right, we have seemed to come out of the gates with not a lot of production.
How did things change when their backup quarterback Will Howard came in?
Not a lot. I mean, the new kid came in and did a good job, and the Q run game dose went higher, and he did a nice job running the football and took care of the ball. And so, there wasn't a lot of drop off. He was very productive.
Coach, is there a strong level of trust in Devin to execute what he needs to in the vertical passing game?
Yeah, absolutely. And Devin, I'm sure he's disappointed today, like everybody else. But he's a competitor, and he's a great athlete, and he's a guy that'll come back. My guess is he'll be ready and really good next week.
Where do you feel like this offense needs to improve most to get back on track?
Well, based on today, take care of the football. You cannot turn the ball over 4 times. You turn the ball over 4 times, your chances of winning are 15%. And the only thing that would fix that is if your defense took it away 4 or 5 times, in the same game. And so you just can't. I mean, that's excessive turnovers. That's you'll turn it over nearly 50 times in the year if you do that. So that is the biggest problem today. If you want to say what is the biggest problem, turnovers. Second biggest problem, not controlling the line of scrimmage.
Coach, on that touchdown that got called back to Jackson Benning, was there, or just from your perspective, was there a miscommunication maybe on the ineligible offensive lineman?
Yeah, lineman didn't hear the call, the entire call, and didn't realize that it was a RPO or play action, and it was the correct call by the ref. I mean, he was 8 yards downfield. He was way down there. So yes, miscommunication. To answer your question.
Kyle, you have a lot of new players, a lot of new leaders on this team. This is the first time they faced adversity. Are you curious to see how they respond after something like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And my guess is they'll answer the bell, but we'll find out. And the locker room was good. There are a lot of upset people in that locker room, and it hurts, and it should. This is a hard-working team, and they prepared well. We had a really good week of practice, and again, we just for whatever reason we're in a funk on offense today and could not get into a rhythm.
Coach, a big bright spot on defense was Nate Ritchie. Can you speak to his game today?
Yeah, he was all over the field and did a nice job. Still got to clean up some tackles. There were some missed tackles that we got to continue to work with him on. But he is a fierce competitor, and he's instinctive. He's always around the ball. And the nature of his position, that position in our defense is going to make a lot of tackles. Just it's inherent with the position. But he's a tough guy and a really good player.
Coach, you've mentioned in the past that you want to get more wide receivers involved. Ryan Davis was the only wide receiver that caught a pass, or true wide receiver, I guess. Just has that, I guess, limited the efficiency of the offense, not having a consistent threat there at that position?
For sure, and we gotta find a way to get a threat at that position. And you're right, we didn't get much involvement with the wideouts today. But you got to get open. I mean, you got to get open to get the ball. And so, we got to do a better job of coaching them to help them to get open.
Coach, on that second drive of the game, when you got stopped on 4th down, Nakari looked like he may have gotten the first. Was it a decision to not challenge, or?
I was going to challenge it, and I went to the ref to say we want to challenge. He says replay had already confirmed, because they're looking at every play, and so if they've already confirmed it, because it was in the ref's ear right there, because I saw the same thing everyone else did on the board, and he said, Coach, don't waste your challenge. Replay has already confirmed the call, and you'll just get the same answer, that confirmed. So, but yeah, that was in my mind a challenge. But when I got that information, that, obviously would have been a bad decision to do that. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Good game till the last 8 minutes. Yep.